Hey, David Shepard here with Brickhouse Toneworks. I want to talk about swapping magnets and PAF style humbuckers. Why you should do it, how to do it, does it make a difference, those types of things. I'm going to get into how to take the magnet out, how to put the magnet in, take the cover on and off, those types of things, and what to look out for when you're doing it on a PAF. But first of all, let me tell you, I don't want to be responsible for you damaging your pickup. If you want to take the risk of doing this, that's on you. I'm just going to show you how I've always done it and, show you some things to look out for basically. And also keep in mind, swapping magnets on a humbucker or a PAF does not make a bad PAF sound good. The pickup is either good or it's not. Swapping the magnet itself will do more to the tonal characteristic of the pickup. So if you wanted to, soften the highs or have the pickup break up a little bit faster, those types of things, then maybe a magnet swap will do that for you. But by no means is it going to take a bad pickup and make it great. That's probably not going to happen. But let's get into how I do this and show you all the little details. Okay, so there's the back of the pickup. You want to get something to clamp it with. Basically, you want it to be able to sit flat and not move around. So a clamp like this does pretty good. You might want to get 2 pieces of wood and a C-clamp or something, but anything padded that's not going to scratch the cover or dent the pickup, I think would be fine. This little clamp is great. What I like to do is heat the solder joint and slide a blade in. Let me try to do this where you can see it. And you'll kind of feel the blade just pop when it goes down between it, which that's done. And then we'll go to the other side and repeat it same way. Just kind of get the blade started. I don't know if you can see that. Solder is pretty soft. There's people that take chisels and all kinds of stuff, blades, and they'll try to use a hammer and break that solder joint. I'm against doing that. I mean, if you're confident you can do it and get away with it, there we go. But really, it's kind of a bad idea. I mean, anytime you take a hammer and something and you whack it between there, you're wedging the cover out and you're bending the cover, and it makes marks all over the place. But the big thing is it distorts the cover when you do it that way. When you do it this way, the cover doesn't bend, there's no distortion whatsoever, and the joint comes apart very nice and easy. So at that point, I've got everything loose and I can take the cover off. So if the pickup is wax potted, then it's going to be a little tricky. You'll have to heat the cover with like a hair dryer or something like that to get the wax to melt. This has a protective film on it. That's why it looks kind of bad. But anyway, I'm trying not to scratch this cover. But it's, this is not potted, so it'll come right off. But if it is potted, you will have to melt the wax to coax the pickup out. And you just I kind of grab an ear. I don't want to bend anything or anything like that. And I'll just kind of pull one end out like that and then turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. And there it is. Okay, so with the cover off, we can talk about the magnet polarity. So basically, there's a bar magnet that goes across the very middle there, and one side of it is north and one side is south. And on a PAF, typically the south side is on towards the screws, and the north side is towards the slugs, which is this side. So screw side, slug side. And then, of course, on one end of the PAF, you typically have tape around the end where all of the leads are tied together underneath the tape. And then on this end, you have the open end where the magnet is sticking out and you can slide the magnet in and out. Let me show you how I do it. Here's the deal with my pickups and a lot of PAFs. If it's a real PAF, these pole pieces are going to be threaded through the base plate. So that means it gets assembled, the bobbin gets tapped through the base plate, and then the screws get put in and thread through the base plate. So if you try to loosen these screws and get the bobbin to be loose enough for the magnet to come out, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to back these pole pieces out enough to get past the base plate so that this bobbin can actually move. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And you know, if it's one of the other cheaper PAFs, you may not have to do that. The screws might just go right through the base plate, but a real one, you're going to have to back these out. So let me show you how I do that. So you want to use a flathead screwdriver that's the right size. And then I'm just kind of feeling on the other side with my finger until the screw is backed out enough to go through the base plate there. So that, I'm going to do that to all the other screws and get them backed out enough to where I can loosen the bobbin enough for the magnet to come out. Okay, now we've got all the screws backed out to where they're not threaded through the base plate. And then the next thing I'll do is loosen these 4 brass screws. These are the screws that hold the bobbin down and put pressure against the magnet so the magnet and everything won't slide out. So we'll have to loosen those for the magnet to come out. So I'll just start backing these out like a turn or so. Not too much because you don't want to stress any of the solder joints or anything. But yeah, just enough to loosen everything. And then as far as taking the magnet out, now the bobbins are kind of loose. You can see how everything's moving. But yeah, taking the magnet out, you want to use something like, I use these. These are my wire cutters or wire strippers, and they have these nice teeth on it. You can use needle nose pliers too, but anything with some kind of teeth or grip to get around the magnet. And these are the perfect thickness and everything. So I can just get in there, get around the magnet, and just kind of pull it out. Whatever you do, don't ever push it out this way. You've got all your leads right here. If you try to peel the tape off, you might damage the coil or pull on something that might break the coil wire. And if you poke on this side, you might damage the pickup as well. So don't ever jab anything on this end to try to push the magnet out. You want to loosen everything and make it easy enough for you to be able to pull the magnet out. And that's how you do it. So I pull the magnet out about 3/4 of the way. I don't want to take it all the way out yet because I want to make sure that the new magnet that I put in is going to go in the same orientation. And the way I'll check that is I'll go, this one's magnetized. Basically, I'm taking an alnico 2 out and I'm going to put an alnico 4. Obviously you can't look at it and tell the difference, so you don't want to mix them up. But anyway, to check to make sure I'm putting it in the same way, right now this is pushing against me when I go towards this one. I want it to attract, okay? And it's got to do that on both sides. So once it's oriented correctly like this, then you can just kind of set it aside in the direction that it's going to go in. Go ahead and take this one all the way out, and then take this one and slide it into place and push it all the way in the same as the one that you took out. Now if it's a short magnet or something like that, this is a standard long 2.5 inch magnet, but if you have a shorter magnet, you'd want to try to center it up on the pole pieces as much as you can. But these long ones will stick out about flush with the end of the bobbin right there. So Anyway, I've got the new magnet in. That's ready to go. Now I can go back and tighten these screws back down, but you want to do so very carefully. This is plastic, so when you put these screws back in, all you got to do is just go until it stops. Now I can put the pole pieces back through. Okay, so we're going to put the pickup back into the cover. Some people like to put a piece of tape over the slugs to help with some of the microphonic issues. You know, the only thing about that is tape over time it has acid in the adhesive, so it might mar up the bobbins over time. So you might want to actually tape the other way around and just put the tape on the inside of the cover like that, so you're not marring up the top of that. Whatever you want to do. I don't use tape. I just put it in. If it's a regular PAF, I do it just like a PAF and just pop it into the cover. And make sure that the holes are aligned on the pole pieces. Jig that I use for when I build the pickups that has these push down clamps on them, and it's a little bit better, but right there that forces the pickup down into the cover nice and flat, and then I've got access to both sides where I can flow the solder joints back. So I'll show you how to do that. Come in and reflow the solder. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions in the comments, let me know. Subscribe to my channel, and please visit my website, brickhouse.tone.com. I appreciate it. Thanks.